Good morning, everyone. Please be seated. I want to be the first to welcome you to this recognition ceremony for 140 members of the 2019 EMBA New York Friday-Saturday class and 133 members of the 2019 EMBA New York Saturday class and 40 members of the 2018 EMBA Americas class. And now I want to give all of you a round of applause. On a personal note, if I might, I've enjoyed working with many of you in class. You are the last EMBA class I will have the pleasure of shaking hands with as dean, so you are special to me. You come together this morning as three extraordinary classes and an extraordinarily diverse group representing every possible industry and background, from finance and technology, healthcare, consulting, media, marketing. You call 32 different countries home, from Albania, Argentina, Australia to Peru, the Philippines, and Poland. And you speak 26 different languages, including Bengali, Bulgarian, Tagalog, Tamil, and people tell me English. You are incredibly accomplished. More than a quarter of you entered this program with yet another advanced degree already under your belt. And you'll find among you athletes, entrepreneurs, adventurers, and philanthropists of every stripe. I think perhaps some of the most talented people in the gathering today are parents in your class. An impressive 35 of you welcomed a child during your time in the program. And I want you to take that as a moment to not forget about partners, spouses, children, loved ones who've supported you through residence weeks, international seminars, and weekends spent in the library. For all those supporting folks, I promise you they really were working all of that time. 24 of you tied the knot during the program, and 18 more of you got engaged. Congratulations all around. It has been particularly gratifying for me, and I know for all my colleagues on the faculty, to see how you exemplify things we hold most dear about this school. You're bright, talented, committed to principles of leadership and entrepreneurial thinking, and importantly, you're committed to one another. I know I could tell you 313 success stories about today's graduates. One of them clearly is Mala Chappell, who after more than 20 years, in the television industry, found herself needing a competitive advantage to truly understand trends, to identify and seize new opportunities. She credits her negotiations class with Professor Freeman, her strategy class with Professor Wang, for helping pave the way for her transition from COO of a $50 million TV production company to becoming a senior vice president in charge of content strategy at Viacom, a $12 billion company, I'm proud to say run by a CBS graduate, and the head of a new division, MTV Studios, producing material for media partners like Netflix and Facebook and Apple and Amazon. Michael Swift soared to new heights. In his career, after starting the program, he achieved his dream job as VP of Sales for Gulfstream Aerospace, looks forward to selling many aircraft to all of you. I'm hoping I can hitch a ride on one of your G5s someday. Many of you forged relationships that have been both personally and professionally rewarding. Alex Ross, Jose Herrera, and Jared Carson all met the first day of the program, an encounter that would prove to be both career and life-changing. All three comfortably worked in finance. They enrolled in the program to advance their careers. But after some courses and one transformative speaker who said you can either spend your life building your own dream or spending it building someone else's, they decided to abandon the stability of their roles and leap into a joint startup called Horatio. The new venture is a next-generation customer support firm aimed at providing a reliable and trusted hand-picked outsourced team for startups and small businesses. Launched 8 months ago, the business has been growing quickly with a number of paying customers and 15 employees in total. Their goal, to be the premier customer support firm for brand-focused companies. Now, a serendipitous seating chart, yes, serendipity happens in seating charts, brought together Irina Benimovich and Jerkshi Yildirim. They were both looking to disrupt the orthopedic equipment manufacturing industry. Recognizing innovative trends in the industry required using some data to solve outcomes and pricing problems, they were soon recruiting engineers and creating a prototype. After their last course together with Professor Don Weiss, starting and running an entrepreneurial company, they finalized a business plan. They've now launched Kyra, a revolutionary, low-cost surgical navigation system to help orthopedic surgeons with improving implant positioning during joint replacement surgery. Currently in the fundraising stage, message to all of you out there, Kyra will lower healthcare costs and improve joint replacement surgery for both surgeons and their patients. And finally, many of you took tremendous leaps in your current careers, or a leap of faith into new ones. Nicole Dow left a decade-long career at CNN to take over business development marketing at her family's shoe store, which has been operating for more than 60 years. Using insights and advice from marketing courses and from executive-in-residence Jack Mitchell, she modernized inventory management, has grown sales, and created successful partnerships. Luis Felipe Puerto Tobon has started the program as a business manager at a Colombian pharmaceutical company. But after a class trip and consulting with Leanne Lockman, who's one of our great executives in residence, he started Alexa Real Estate in his hometown of Cali in Colombia. Focusing on passive income commercial properties, Alexa Real Estate has grown now into a 10-person team, including 2 full-time employees and 8 contractors, with already more than $1 million raised in investments. Congratulations really to all of you. Now, yeah, for everybody. Since the day you got here, this school has challenged you to be active, to be contributing members of our community. I know, we all know, that you've more than met this challenge as students, and I know you'll continue to do so as you join 46,500 CBS alumni all over the world. That community is more vital than ever, and personal and professional relationships you have created at your time at Columbia will form the foundation of that lifelong membership in CBS's community. You've learned a lot here, but I just want to focus on 2 things that a great business school like this one can impart. Thing 1, your MBA is really a calling card that says to the world, I am entrepreneurial. I'm a problem solver. I understand the whole puzzle, not just a piece of it, and I can seize upon opportunity in any environment, good times and bad. Thing 2, a great program prepares you for a lifelong career in business, in social enterprise, for some of you, I hope, even public service. For all of you, what that means is not just a skill set, but a mindset that's going to enable you to succeed. And because you already know more than some less experienced MBAs about what to expect from your careers, you know the value of your degree and your MBA experience will unfold over a lifetime. Now, you're graduating from business school in a period of great opportunity and change in the world of business, with megatrends like globalization, technological change, populism, creating forces that move things up and move things down. What we've tried to do with you is help you take your natural gifts and develop how to think about creating opportunity in any environment. We hope that the positioning you've gotten from faculty, from alumni and speakers, from being in the heart of New York has helped that preparation. And I know the reputation and strength of this school goes with you. As an alum, that reputation and that strength will provide you with connections and support to help you continue to foster your creativity, to invite your entrepreneurial thinking, and open the doors to opportunity. Those tools will give you the confidence, the ability to succeed and succeed on your own terms. You really couldn't be better prepared. But here's the part I'm proudest of as dean. With the rewards of your MBA, and that's really what today is about, also comes responsibility. What does it really mean to be a graduate of Columbia Business School? We hope and expect that you recall that we are and have always been in the business of both value and values. Yes, we are the birthplace, proudly, of value investing. We strive to add value in all disciplines, but I think we realize and you realize that personal values matter and matter a lot in the workplace and in life. So as you rise in your career, remember your courses in leadership and ethics, which I hope inspire you to continue to give back to new generations of students that same message, that same support you received. I hope you realize your role as now stewards of the Columbia Business School brand and tap into and add value as you add value in the world. So what's happening this morning? In one sense, the familiar sense, you will graduate. You will become part of this great alumni network around the world, and like so many other graduates before you, you'll make a mark. Predecessors like Jerry Spire, or Lee Cooperman, or Henry Kravis, Robert Smith, Russ Carson, Shelley Lazarus, Sally Krawcheck, Warren Buffett, Jerry Chazen, Vikram Pandit, James Gorman, Jamie Kern-Lima, Tim Campos, and 46,500 other CBS movers and shakers. Please know, as I hope you already do, that that community, that network, is a powerful asset that you can and you should leverage for a lifetime, so stay connected. That's about graduation. But on days like this, I actually prefer a more old-fashioned word, commencement, because it has an explicit reference to both beginnings and transitions. You will continue a life of engagement in business and society, and remember that the value of your experience here will unfold over time. What I look forward to hearing from you in the years ahead, and I know my colleagues feel this way, is what you did not expect but got anyway from the program and your degrees. We're all looking forward to hearing what this mindset will give you, your company, and our world. Most of all, never forget what a noble calling business itself is, and the power that lies within each and every one of you today to transform the lives not only of other business leaders and entrepreneurs, but communities and nations around the world. I want you to remember that your MBA is a master of choices. What matters most to me, what matters most to everyone up here, is not the change jingling in your pockets after commencement, but the change you will make in the world. Congratulations. Give yourselves another round of applause. It is now my pleasure to turn the microphone over to my colleague, Kelly Martin Blanco.
Thank you, Dean Hubbard. Congratulations to all 313 of our EMBA graduates. So now we will present the Executive MBA Commitment to Excellence Award, which was established by the EMBA class of 1991 in memory of Professor Margaret K. Chandler. This award is presented to a member of the faculty for their contributions to the class experience, commemorating the high standards set by Professor Chandler. For the EMBA New York Friday-Saturday class, this year's Commitment to Excellence recipient is Professor Trevor Harris. Professor Harris joined the Columbia Business School faculty in 1983 as the Jerome A. Chazen Professor of International Business. He served as director of the Chazen Institute of International Business and chair of the accounting division prior to joining Morgan Stanley as managing director and head of the global valuation and accounting team in 2000. Professor Harris rejoined the faculty of Columbia Business School in 2008 as the Arthur J. Sandberg Professor of Professional Practice. Professor Harris also serves as co-director of Columbia's Center for Excellence in Accounting and Security Analysis and senior advisor at Morgan Stanley. He has published widely on valuation and accounting issues in both academic and practitioner journals, presenting at over 200 conferences, institutes, and universities around the world. Professor Harris has been the recipient of this award multiple times, as well as the Chazen Institute Prize for Innovation in Teaching and the Sing V Prize for Excellence in Teaching. So please join me in welcoming Professor Harris to the podium.
Thank you, Kelly, and congratulations to Mahalia and Paul and all the graduating students, especially the Friday, Saturday class. As this is the last EMBA graduation as Dean for my longtime colleague and friend, Dean Hubbard, I'm also delighted to be able to be a part of this ceremony with him. However, I do need to make one correction of what he said. I tell my students always I speak two languages, American and English. Most of you speak American, you do not speak English. Special thanks go first to my wife, Michelle, for always supporting me, especially during a teaching semester. And second, to my graduating students, for honoring me with this award, which you know I really truly appreciate. It actually played a big part in delaying my retirement from the business school this year. I hope your family, friends, and others present here appreciate what a special group of people you all are. At our first class together, I warned you that not only was accounting going to be fun, but also that it was not equal to simple truth. Many of you were understandably skeptical, especially as most students expect to be shown answers on how to apply accounting rather than ask questions about applications and outputs. But as we progressed through the term, you appreciated and embraced the notion that in our business lives and personal circumstances, we will always have to deal with ambiguity and uncertainty. As we discussed in the class in the context of businesses, of understanding businesses, each of us needs to question what we see, read or hear, then go back to basics to understand the underlying fundamentals of the business in order to make fair and well-informed judgments before making your decisions. Accounting is one of the many tools and concepts and applications you work through and hopefully learned in the EMBA program. What you came to appreciate in the class we had together is that it is not just about what we measure and report, but more about obtaining transparency of the underlying reality and then being thoughtful and accountable for your decisions, understanding that there is no simple or perfect answer. For example, as I'm sure you recall and joke about, I harassed you to never accept EBITDA as a measure of cash flow or even operating profitability, even if it is used all the time by many business people. If you are honest about what it is and is not, rather than what others say, you will make better decisions. As we discussed and observed so frequently in the media frenzy we live in, and as Dean Hubbard spoke about, there are many difficult issues facing our economic lives, which you will have to deal with in the future. These create risks, but also amazing opportunities. Given your new degrees, as the uncertainty unfolds, you will have the knowledge and power to make a difference in what you choose to do. I hope you will seek out and understand the opportunities, make good choices, and be accountable to yourselves. Then I know each of you will contribute to a bright future for us all. It has been my great pleasure to be a small part of your journey at Columbia Business School. Congratulations to each of you, and thank you again for making my time here so rewarding. Thank you.
It is my pleasure this morning to introduce Jonathan Hopper. Who was chosen by the EMBA New York Friday-Saturday class to speak today. John Hopper has built his career in digital media and is currently Vice President of Business Development and Innovation at the Daily Mail. John has a Bachelor of Arts in Psychological and Brain Sciences from Dartmouth College. At Columbia, he served as the Vice President of Communication and EMBA students for Cluster Q and has also been involved in the Media Management Association. John is a proud member of Cluster B and Learning Team B8. Please join me in welcoming Jonathan to the podium.
On our very first day at Harvard, a very wise professor quoted Aristotle, "The law is reason free from passion." Sorry, wait, no, that's Legally Blonde's graduation speech. Let me try this again. Thank you, Dean Blanco, Dean Hubbard, the EMBA faculty and staff, distinguished guests, friends, and family. In our classes, we discuss the importance of culture. That corporate culture is a source of its competitive advantage. Culture is based around shared values and a sense of community. What has defined Columbia Business School for me has been the culture my class has created. This is a culture that allowed me to meet and befriend people I would have never met before. I thought I wouldn't like finance bros. Turns out you're pretty fantastic friends. Everyone talks about the great networking that goes on in business school, but that term is so stale. It's formal. It feels very quid pro quo. Instead, what I found at Columbia has turned into my personal board of directors. Confidants I can turn to be my issues, professional or personal. What I've found in this program has been a community, and an extraordinary one at that. This is a community that encouraged, or rather inspired, Ryan Jacobs to start a water balloon fight at 10 p.m. during our first residence week. A community that curates polarizing discussions because of our sincerely held respect for each other's opinions. A community that drove a group of us to arts and crafts between classes for a midday drink because we needed it. This is a community that challenges each other with different ideas, that forces you to learn more about the world and about yourself, that pushes you to create more, to grow personally and professionally, and a group that will support you when you fall, a group that lets you be free to fail. I remember in Professor Harris's class asking, I kid you not, what a stock was. I'm in Columbia Business School, an elite business school, and I had no idea what a stock was. And rather than being ridiculed by my classmates, I was only met with support. In fact, a few of them thanked me because they also didn't know what a stock was. Had I not been around such supporting classmates, had they not created this sense of psychological safety, I would not have felt as inquisitive, as curious, as able to learn. We have some Army Rangers in our class, and they've shared stories about how they grew close with their fellow Rangers because of shared hardships. Late nights, being forced to work together under extreme conditions. And I couldn't help but think of our long days in class, sacrificed weekends, and late nights working on projects. We were stretched thin over the past 2 years, and yet our support for each other and this shared experience only helped to deepen our connection. One such hardship we faced as a class was the loss of our classmate, Nicola Benjamin. Nicola was a dedicated member of the EMBA community, especially Cluster A. I would like to take a quick moment to honor Nicola, who passed a year ago this week. Thank you. Something you may have noticed in class, surprisingly not in this speech so far, is that I have a stutter. Trust me, a lot of practice went into not stuttering for this. It is something here we go. See? It is not something that always comes out, but whenever I'm nervous, excited, or passionate, the perfect storm right now, my words stumble over each other. It's an issue I've dealt with most of my life, and one I was afraid would hold me back professionally. So to be elected speaker has not only been humbling because of the amazing classmates I have, but because I get to face my impediment head on. It's a testimony to this class that you would elect someone who has a stutter to speak on your behalf, and that I would feel confident enough to do so because of your support. You may have also noticed that I'm not up here alone. These are my fellow nominees for class speaker, all of them leaders within our class. And I have them up here today because of the strength we've given each other over the past 2 years. We supported each other because none of us could have done this alone. And I can think of no better way to end my Columbia experience than with them up here, a sign of our class unity. On the note of unity, thank you to our family and friends who stood by us. Thank you, significant others. Yes. Thank you for picking up our slack when we were overwhelmed. Thank you for being there as we had our mental breakdowns. Thank you for calming us when we were stressed. Thank you for your patience, for letting us explore this program to its fullest, for letting us travel around the world or just to Morningside Heights, for knowing that community building was much a part of this program as class, and for letting us sneak in at 3 a.m. on a Wednesday night as we built that community. As I wrap, and yes, I promise this is the end, I challenge you all. Think of the community that we built here. Think about the collaboration and the pooling of knowledge. Think about how much we were able to accomplish because we were there for each other, because we built a culture that allowed us to fail and pushed us to succeed. Let it help you shape the organizations that you lead. And if you ever stumble along the way, remember that your CBS family is there for you always. Thank you again for this incredible honor, and thank you for being my family. Congratulations, class of 2019. We did it! And in honor of the community that we've built over the past 2 years, the Friday-Saturday class put together a quick video as a love letter to our EMBA experience. Enjoy, and happy birthday, Jeff.
Yeah!
I said, hey you, 'cause you don't need to frown. There's no need to be unhappy. Hey you, there's a place you can go. I said, hey you, when you've got lots of dough, you can go there. And I'm sure you will find many ways to have a good time.
It's fun to pay for your EMBA. It's fun to pay for your EMBA. CBS has everything for you to enjoy. You can hang out with girls and boys. It's fun to pay for your EMBA. to pay for your
You can learn lots of stuff. You can have a good meal. You can be a really big deal.
You there? Are you listening to me? I said you there. You may get a low P. I said you there. You can make real your dreams, but you got to know this one thing.
Studying isn't all EMBA means, so dump it all on your learning team. So just come here, do your EMBA, and I doubt your boss will ever pay.
It's fun to pay for your EMBA. It's fun to pay for your
You can get a sweatshirt, drink a ton of coffee, all of this for 200 G.
It's fun to pay for your EMBA. It's fun to pay for your EMBA.
You can learn lots of stuff that you soon will forget.
But you won't have any regret.
Hey you, when you've had too much booze, I said, hey you, just want you go snooze. You can do whatever you choose, just don't freak out like a German. I know your props will be there to amuse. You'll meet Ada and Donna too. Harris really hates EBITDA. This fact cracks the hell out of Gaia.
It's fun to pay for your EMBA. It's fun to pay for your EMBA.
I doubt your boss would ever pay.
I said, hey you, 'cause it's ready to drop.
All right, pretty good.
That was great. Thank you. For the EMBA Americas class, this year's Commitment to Excellence recipient is Professor Malia Mason. Professor Malia Mason studies negotiations and social judgment and decision-making in one line of work. In a second, she studies how people regulate their attention and the implications for work performance. She has published her research findings in Science, Psychological Science, Journal of Personality and Social Psychology, Journal of Experimental Psychology, and Harvard Business Review, among others. She has also received several prestigious career awards for notable contributions as a scholar, including the American Psychological Society's Rising Star Early Career Award, the Rotman School of Management's Dean's Award for Emerging Leaders, and Poins and Quant's World's Best 40 Under 40 Business School Professors. Numerous media outlets have featured her research, including The Wall Street Journal, CNN, CBS, Forbes, Reddit, NPR, and The Atlantic. In 2015, she was awarded the Dean's Prize for Teaching Excellence in an MBA elective. Please join me in welcoming Professor Malia Mason.
Unlike many commencement speakers over the coming months that will urge new graduates to eat indulgently at the buffet of professional opportunity that awaits them, today I will take a slightly different tact. And it's not because I don't like opportunity or food, quite the contrary actually, especially when I'm at Mel's Burgers. But I digress. You see, success begets success, as the saying goes, and while this is generally a great thing, it does present a challenge. I'll refer to it here as the success paradox. The idea best popularized by the author Greg McKeown is this: When you have successes, you are rewarded with new opportunities. People ask you to be on their board. They invite you to lead various initiatives. It's exciting and, of course, flattering, but dear graduates, the indiscriminate pursuit of these opportunities is a serious threat to acting with focus and intent. And those two things, focus and intent, are absolutely critical for you to have an impact and to lead a meaningful and rewarding life. Without self-imposed guardrails, your past successes can, ironically, undermine your chances at future success. I hate to be the one to have to tell you, but despite what you've been told, you can't do or have it all. It's not that you lack the wit or the drive or the character, it's that you lack the time. Economists report that we spend 35% of each day asleep if we're lucky next to someone we love. Another 30% goes toward caring for dependents, eating, cooking, self-care, and various chores. We work 8 to 9 hours a day, half of that time in meetings, and another quarter on the phone or writing emails. What we're essentially left with is 90 minutes of solo, unadulterated work time, and another 2 hours of so-called free time, time we can spend on leisure, maybe on exercise, or maybe on doing more work. We are eternally optimistic about how much we can accomplish, but the reality is that there are steep constraints on your time, and you need to act like it. You're going to need to focus your efforts, get clarity regarding what you'll pursue and what you'll ignore. As your strategy professor no doubt professed, chasing growth too aggressively can backfire by eroding your competitive advantage. Often a good strategy involves deciding what not to do. And this principle applies not just to firms, but also to people. If you haphazardly chase after every shiny opportunity that crosses your desk, you will have the unrewarding experience of making a little progress in a million different directions. You will make trade-offs on the margin that you would never make if you had a basic understanding of what you are trying to accomplish professionally and personally. But Malia, you cry, I don't have the luxury of passing on opportunities. I don't know what I'm passionate about. I need to explore. Well, first of all, the unfortunate truth is that most people develop a passion for an activity only after they've developed some expertise at it, which means this advice that you should follow your passion is somewhat counterproductive. Taste testing your way through life looking for the one thing that wows you is risky because the vast majority of people never find their wow in this manner. Second, you don't need a grand plan to behave with intent. Instead, I urge you to articulate a general direction for yourself. It can change, it probably should change, but start with a basic understanding of your personal mission, at least for the time being. Too often, we mindlessly accept opportunities not for the explicit purpose of figuring out our life path, but out of apprehension and a misguided belief that doing something is necessarily better than doing nothing. It's not. Err on the side of less, not more. I'd love to say that with a purpose, hard work will ensure your success, but the truth is, I think it's a great start. I think there's another obstacle to surmount, coordinating your aspirations with those of the people in your immediate orbit. Arguably, my biggest failing as your professor is never discussing how best to negotiate over and protect your ultimate limiting resource, your time. And so, as a final parting lesson, I want to impress upon you the importance of being able to gracefully disappoint others, to borrow McEwen's words. It's one of the shortest words in the English language. In fact, there are only 2 shorter, and yet many of us really struggle to use it. N-O, no. I'm going to have to pass on the opportunity as I don't have the bandwidth. Being able to gracefully disappoint people is, to my mind, an underrated and critically important skill for you to hone. To accomplish great things, to avoid being at the mercy of other people's agendas, you need to get over any fear you might have of displeasing others with your boundaries. As Stephen Covey liked to say, the main thing is to keep the main thing the main thing. So please, be hawkish with your time and make a concerted effort to develop a skill for diplomatically declining. Graduates, you can do anything, but you cannot do everything. Choose wisely and lean into the choice. Congratulations and best of luck.
It's my pleasure this morning to introduce Nikki Fernandez, who was chosen by the EMBA Americas class to speak today. Nikki is the finance manager at Bright Farms, a rapidly growing indoor farming startup disrupting the agriculture industry to make the world more sustainable and locally fed. After graduating from Ramapo College in 2007, Nikki began her career at Deloitte before joining Avis Budget Group as Director of Transformation. She was then drawn to Columbia to translate her corporate skills to the startup world, where she could help build something meaningful from scratch. During her time at CBS, Nikki was the epitome of no downtime and served as cluster representative and teaching assistant, managed 2 pro bono consulting projects, and took classes in every format offered. Nikki was class cheerleader and social organizer, ensuring everyone had some fun mixed in with all of the homework. Originally from North Carolina, Nikki is the second oldest of 7 children, all of whom are here today. Please join me in welcoming Nikki to the podium.
Good morning. I'd like to thank everyone for joining us so early on a Saturday morning to celebrate this accomplishment with us. To the parents of the EMBA graduates here today, I thank you for the gift of each of my classmates and for supporting us throughout our lives to get to this point. To the family, friends, significant others, and children, I thank you for putting up with us. We somehow managed to convince you to help us do this when we did not quite understand what it would entail. And a special thank you to all 12 of my family members here today, especially my mom and my husband who covered for me while I missed every single social event for the last 2 years. My fellow EMBA graduates, I thank you for the opportunity to address you today and for the true pleasure of getting to know you. It has been an honor being surrounded by people who challenged and inspired me every day and who continue to do so. Today is an important day, though bittersweet. And I would like to point out that while we may be sad that our time here together is at an end, at least this is the last time we have to be on campus at 8 a.m. on a Saturday. The EMBA was a lot more challenging than sacrificing our weekend mornings. It may even be the hardest thing that we have ever done. And each and every one of you should be extremely proud of what you have achieved. EMBA Americas, in particular, was not for the faint of heart. Contrary to what some family and friends may still believe, we did not get to go to New York for a week every month to relax and party. First of all, as executives, we don't party, we network, though it might be an outdated term, someone said. And we did do some networking, but there was certainly no relaxing. Every month, we would pack our bags, kiss our loved ones goodbye, and head to New York for a week. Most of us boarded flights to get here, flights from faraway places like South Korea, India, Peru, Brazil, Chile, Mexico, Colombia, Canada, around the United States, and a few of us even crossed the river from New Jersey. We arrived in New York with a head full of promises that we would not check our work email during class, we would not over-caffeinate or drink too much, and we certainly would be in bed by 10 o'clock every night. We would submit all of our assignments well in advance, and we would listen attentively to every single minute of every single lecture for the entire week. We even optimistically packed gym clothes. Sad to say, we broke many of these promises every month. We'd kick off our class week, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and slowly be beaten down over three-hour back-to-back classes every day for 5 days straight. You haven't really lived until you've had 9 hours of accounting, statistics, and business analytics in one day, or survived a 6-hour corporate finance final exam only to be terrified of the letter P. Who would have thought that at 30+ years of age, a grading curve could still keep us awake at night? Somehow we would make it through the week and head back home, where we'd try to cram 4 weeks worth of work into 3 while spending every spare second doing homework until we got to go back to New York the next month to do it all over again for 20 months voluntarily. Life wasn't so kind as to pause so we could do this either. Our class welcomed 6 babies, including twins during core, which I still don't understand how they did that. We celebrated engagements and weddings. We moved homes and countries and jobs. We had car accidents and surgeries. Children got sick. Family members passed away. It all just kind of piled on and gave new meaning to the phrase, drinking from the fire hose. So, with all of that going on, you'd think that we were miserable. But when we were together, we were anything but. What permeated every single class was a feeling of how incredibly lucky we all felt to be here. Not just because this is Columbia, which is, of course, incredible, but because we knew how rare it was to take a whole week out of our very demanding lives to sit in that classroom with the sole intention of bettering ourselves. We have been around long enough to know how fleeting our time at CBS would be. And from the second that we started this journey together that would forever change our lives, the privilege of being here was not lost on us. We were determined to make the most out of every minute, and we will use that same determination to make the most out of the knowledge that we gained here to leave our mark on the world. Someone once expressed skepticism to me at the idea that business school can transform you, but I have witnessed that transformation in myself and in all of you. If you had told me 12 years ago at my graduation from a small college in New Jersey with a degree in accounting that I would be standing up here today, I never would have believed you. I am living proof that you can do whatever you set your mind to, and I can't wait to see what we all set our minds to next. Most people think that we learn the secrets to taking over the world in business school, but the biggest thing that I learned was that it is okay not to have it all figured out, that half the fun should be figuring it out together, and once you realize that and take the pressure off yourself, the opportunities will begin to open themselves up to you. So to all the EMBA graduates here today, as we step back into the world, newly minted MBAs ready to explore our futures, I hope that you always carry a piece of our time here together with you. Never forget the friendships that you forged, the capabilities that you discovered and cultivated within yourself, and the curiosity and desire to improve that brought you here in the first place. The opportunities really are endless, and we only have to take them. So with that, thank you.
Thanks, Nikki. The EMBA New York Saturday class has chosen Paul Johnson to receive this year's Executive MBA Commitment to Excellence Award. Paul Johnson founded the private investment partnership Nacusa Investment Advisors in 2003. He is co-author of Pitch the Perfect Investment, The Essential Guide to Winning on Wall Street, and was a contributing annotator to The Most Important Thing Illuminated by Howard Marks. Paul co-authored The History of Value Investing at Columbia Business School, A Century of Ideas, as well as The Guerrilla Game, Picking Winners in High Technology. Paul's been an adjunct professor at Columbia Business School since 1992, having taught over 40 courses on security analysis and value investing to more than 2,000 full-time and executive MBA students. He holds an MBA in finance from the executive program at the University of Pennsylvania's Wharton School of Business and a BA in economics from the University of California at Berkeley. Please join me in welcoming Paul Johnson.
Wow, thank you. It's great to see that they recognize that the Saturday-only program is the best. So they kept it for last. Also want to thank the dean for the little shout out on value investing. Why not? It's a great honor to stand here before you today. I'm very flattered. I was quite touched when I learned that I had been selected as the speaker. I was in the 4th lecture of my next class, this experimental class we put together. and found out that afternoon. I was quite humbled and thanked my students, and I thank you all today. It's truly touching. I take teaching very seriously, and when I get this recognition, it makes all the extra effort worth it, so thank you. As Kelly mentioned, I also have an executive MBA from a different school, so I recognize the effort you put in to get here. I sat in your seat 28 years ago, and I remember the feeling of accomplishment. Maybe it was just relief that I suspect many of you are feeling right now, so congratulations on a job well done. As you see from the program, and you've probably surmised from the prior speakers, we've each been given 5 minutes to address you today. And as any of you who sat through my class, you know I have trouble setting up a good joke in less than 5 minutes, so I'll see what I can do in this effort. I'm going to take a slightly different approach to this than my prior speakers. Just reference sort of a little bit of history. In 1998, Tom Brokaw, who was certainly one of the great newsmen of our time, published a book called The Greatest Generation. And in the book, he profiled Americans who had served their country through extraordinary courage, personal sacrifice, and honor. These individuals had grown up during the Depression and then fought in World War II, both abroad and at home. Many continued their sense of duty after returning from the war. In the narrative, Brokaw claims that these men and women served not for fame or recognition, but because it was the right thing to do. And when one looks back on the contribution these individuals made to our country, it's hard not to agree with Brokaw's assessment. As I look out on all of you, all 3 programs, I frankly think you'll be the second greatest generation of our times. But before you let this comment further swell your already healthy opinion of yourself, note that I do not assign this moniker because what you've already accomplished, as impressive as it is. Brokaw wrote his book 50 years after these individuals had contributed. I'm making my comment before you really start the most important phase of your career. I bestow this title on you because of the challenges you will face and our need for you to solve those problems. You will be our second greatest generation because you'll have no choice. It is highly unlikely that any of you will have to serve in a war, and that's a good thing, but you will face other types of challenges that may be just as daunting. And with the rapid increase in technology advancement across all domains, everything is now included, there's a growing interdependency between all individuals on the planet. Simply put, we need each other to survive. I've had the rare opportunity to get to know some of you this past year, and I've come to greatly appreciate the ambition, energy, and passion you all possess. It's quite impressive. You alone give me optimism for the future, despite the seriousness of the challenges we face. I hope that while you were here, we taught you that business can be a great source to help solve problems, small and large. And I further hope that we have provided you with at least some of the tools that you will need to overcome these global challenges. Because frankly, we're counting on you. Enjoy your newfound freedom. You have your weekends and weeks back, and have a great summer. I will give you one piece of sage advice. You're more exhausted than you realize. Sleep a little this summer. And I want to end by thanking you again for this terrific honor and being able to come to speak to you, and I congratulate you on your significant educational accomplishment.
Thank you, Paul. I am now happy to introduce Damian Rivera, who was chosen by his fellow students to be the graduation speaker for the EMBA New York Saturday class. Damian is the CEO of ALPHA, the Association of Latino Professionals for America, whose purpose is connecting Latino leaders for impact. Prior to joining ALPHA, Damian worked for 21 years at Accenture as a managing director in the utilities and energy practice. He graduated from Rutgers University in 1997 with a Bachelor of Science in Chemical Engineering. Damian is originally from Spanish Harlem here in New York City and currently lives in Ardsley, New York with his high school sweetheart, Adonis, and children, Damien Jr. and Alanis. Please join me in welcoming Damian to the podium.
How are we doing today? You know what? That wasn't loud enough. We are not the Columbia kitty cats. We don't meow, 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 meow. We lions roar. One more time. How are we doing today? You guys can laugh too. We have been on a journey. We have been on a long journey for 749 days. Started a long time ago, but all of a sudden it is here. 749 days ago, on what would be considered an ordinary day, for most people, we started an extraordinary journey. And in that day, we planted the seeds of a tree, a family tree that you won't find on Ancestry.com or 23andMe, but you will find it on GroupMe. Now, our family may be a little bit weird from the outside looking in. Every now and then you might see someone in a lion's costume or a turkey costume walking into class. Chris Martin, I am talking about you. Now, he wasn't on his own. The back row was there with him. It was also Anand. You were back there too, Andrea and Mark. By the way, let's wish Mark a happy birthday real quick. Mark, happy birthday, my friend, my brother. And like every family, we need those responsible people too. We cannot forget the ones that made it an opportunity when we started out to give us that sunshine, that fertilizer, that water for us. And who were some of those folks? We think about Chelsea and Zach, who were setting up the CBS Matters for us to make sure we shared our journeys with each other, make sure we knew why we were here. Morgan and Akshit back over there. Yes, you guys made sure we actually knew what to do as we were going through every single day, every single week. Thank you for those emails. We would have loved them in the electives as well, but we know we couldn't have that too. Matt, Jane, Katrina, sending out the emails that helped us see the progress we were making as we were getting those promotions, getting those opportunities in life, and seeing CBS Matters in real life. And there were those that didn't have formal roles. Lindsay, Eva, June, I'm talking about you guys, the ones that made sure that whether we were traveling overseas or traveling downtown, we had opportunities to connect and grow our family. That was the sunshine, the fertilizer, the water. But we're missing one piece. We need that oxygen. We need that person that was there that made sure that we always were motivated. And Yaz, I am talking about you. Always there to make sure that we felt and knew that we could do it together. The countdown to graduation was going on. Thank you for that. Our family has grown. Started off at 133. Marriages, kids. We even had a CBS couple, right? So Fatma, Peter, congratulations to you guys. I wish you a world of happiness and love for your entire lives. To the families over there on the outsides, thank you for what you did to give us the power to make sure that our journey did not slow down. We did not stop over the 2 years. We made sure we finished it strong. Special thank you to my wife and kids for making sure that they put up with me while I was going through this journey with you all. So then the question comes, what happens next? See, we've been on a great journey so far. And yes, this is a commencement, which technically means it's coming to the end, but our journeys are not ending. We're actually just starting. And we are at a time in history, as PJ just talked about, where the world needs us more now than ever before. There are too many issues out there, whether in business or environment, in social, that need us. And there is no one more prepared than we are to take on those challenges. And so as we move off of today, as we go forward on our journeys, if ever there is a moment of doubt in our minds, remember that roar that you heard today. Remember the feel, remember what you smell, what the smell is, the sounds, everything about today, and let that power you as you move forward. I cannot express the appreciation I have for having this honor today to represent EMBA Saturday 2019. Thank you very much. God bless.
Thanks, Damian. It is now my pleasure to introduce today's commencement speaker. Elle Kaplan is the founder and CEO of Lexion Capital, a fiduciary wealth management firm in New York City, as well as the chief investment officer and founder of Lexion Alpha. Elle is a finance expert and self-made entrepreneur. Her firm, Lexion Capital Management, is the only U.S. asset management firm that is 100% woman-owned. She has been featured as a personal finance expert and entrepreneur in a variety of business and consumer publications, including Inc. magazine, as well as local and national news shows, radio shows, and podcasts. Enterprising Women magazine named Elle as one of its Enterprising Women of the Year in 2013, and she has been featured as a keynote speaker for several entrepreneurial and business organizations, including Inc.'s GrowCo Conference and the U.S. Chamber of Commerce Center for Women in Business Summit. Elle received her BS degrees from the University of Michigan in English and chemistry, and, well, I guess it's a BA and a BS from University of Michigan, English and chemistry, and her MBA from Columbia Business School's Executive MBA program, class of 2005. Please join me in welcoming Elle to the stage. To the podium.
Good morning and congratulations to all of you. To the families who have inspired and supported, to the spouses and partners who spent 2 years sacrificing to help their special person on stage in front of me, most especially, congratulations to the 2019 Columbia Business School graduates. You are without a doubt graduating from the best business school in the world. This is particularly true of the Executive MBA program. I say this not only as an alumna, but clearly as an unbiased expert. Graduating from this school is no small feat. Your presence here is a testimony to your ability to achieve and your commitment to succeed. I commend you for your drive, your persistence, and what I'm sure were many sleepless nights that were required to reach this goal. Once the euphoria of being admitted to Columbia wears off, the stressful reality sets in, and that means balancing a full-time job, a full-time course load, your family, and friendships. It is your insane reality for too long and incredibly fast years. You did it. Breathe, smile, and bask in this moment. Please know from this day onward, you will never again feel overwhelmed by juggling or multitasking. It fills me with such happiness to be celebrating this wonderful accomplishment with all of you today. As you and your loved ones gather from across the globe to share in this event, I want to thank the class of 2019 for extending me the privilege of joining you. Today is the conclusion to a journey you began 2 years ago. You were at very different points in your lives and careers. You will now share this common bond of having graduated from this esteemed university. To this day, I count my fellow Columbia Business School alumni and classmates as prominent amongst my advisors, my best friends, and my mentors. These were the people who shared with me the challenges inherent with Columbia's Executive MBA program, as well as a time-honored exercise class. This class was unique to Columbia Business School and took place when I was here in Warren Hall. It's a special form of exercise, perhaps, that I called exercising our livers, perhaps better known as happy hour. These hours turn from drinks into dinners and then into lifelong friendships and business guidance. These relationships are proving to be enduring and priceless. It is my sincere hope that you have developed these relationships. Nurture them. They will provide you with future guidance and keep you connected to the cherished memories from your days at Columbia Business School. It was with great pride that I sat where you are now back in 2005 as an executive MBA graduate. Of course, I had no idea that 14 years later, I would be standing here addressing all of you in a graduation robe, or as I now like to think of it, ideal fashion apparel for a woman in her 7th month of pregnancy. Naturally, as a Columbia Business School graduate, I could not have just one child. So I'm expecting twins in a couple months. Thank you. They will be future feminists and hopefully graduates of this very business school in a few dozen years. As I am an alumna of the EMBA program, I know I'll tap into my own juggling and multitasking skills when I give birth to these 2 baby boys in a few months. So you and I, we are at another transition point in our lives, concluding one journey and preparing to begin another. We often mark celebratory days such as this as shaping new beginnings. Where there's truth in this, there's also truth in the fact that a journey through some adversity shapes our lives. Many of you have had very unlikely journeys, and we've all experienced unexpected adversities or perhaps even tragedy along the way. These experiences serve not as setbacks or stumbling blocks, but as an opportunity where we can choose to rise up and overcome. That choice, ultimately the ability to overcome, can serve as a light in an otherwise dark and challenging time. This light is powerful and can provide you with the strength to carry on to the triumph of days like today, a true day of celebration marking your achievements. I say this because I know it to be true of my own journey. Rewinding, a few decades at this point, I was studying English and chemistry with plans to become a doctor in college. Finance, New York, an executive MBA program, they were nowhere on my radar. I had no idea what Wall Street even meant. I was in the middle of my junior year when I received a call to come home right away. My father had fallen very suddenly into a non-responsive coma. I immediately traveled home, and the days that followed were both a blur and a low point in my life. Each day blended into one another as they took on the cadence of the same depressing routine. Awake to find my mom sobbing at the kitchen table, drive to the hospital to sit vigil in the intensive care unit, go home to sleep, and repeat the next day. My mom deals with stress in part by baking nonstop. This meant our house had an insane amount of baked goods at this time. So one morning, as I was finishing up the breakfast of champions, freshly made chocolate chip cookies, I asked my mom why she was crying. I expected her to say, because your father's in a coma. But that's not what she said. My mom simply stated she was crying because that morning she felt overwhelmed with the family finances. Now, my mom is a brilliant woman, extremely knowledgeable about so many things, but my parents had a very traditional marriage where my father managed the finances, and she confessed she knew very little about them and was overwhelmed with the task of becoming responsible for them quite literally overnight. During this time of great uncertainty, her reply actually gave me hope. In the midst of this tragedy, there was something I could do to help. I decided I would learn everything I could about finance and investment management. Uncertainty about my future and the future of my family changed my journey. There will be times in your lives when uncertainty feels terrifying. What if I forgot? There will be times when maybe it feels exhilarating. Maybe we're pregnant, but then terrifying again. What if it's twins? Perhaps you had uncertainty about taking on the additional responsibilities of earning a new degree. But look where you are right now. The beauty in all of this lies in the spectrum of possible outcomes. When you open yourself up to possibilities, uncertainty becomes a huge gift. During my senior year in college, I spent most of my free time reading about finance and investment management. The more I learned, the more terrified I became. Wall Street seemed like the Wild West, unpredictable and fraught with danger. I couldn't find a place for my mom and our family where they would act in her best interest. Instead, it seemed that investment managers were the medical equivalent of drug representatives, pushing a product without pledging to first do no harm. But it was in this gap that I found a personal mission and business opportunity. I decided I would one day open an investment management firm to help women like my mom and the families they love. My career focus would change, and it would become to empower people financially. I set a goal to open a firm that would one day become Lexion. While the path less traveled can be more interesting, it's typically filled with some stumbling blocks. Not many English and chemistry majors choose careers in finance, so I had definitely taken the less traveled fork in the road, and even its beginning was filled with a lot of speed bumps. I had no job. I wanted to move to New York, but I had all of $200 saved up. My mom had grounded me, so technically I wasn't even allowed to go. But since I was new to being a grown-up, I had no idea how totally absurd my plans were. I arranged for a free lift to New York, packed a large duffel bag with as much as I could carry, and moved to the floor of a small office alcove about 45 minutes outside of the city. I soon realized how much even train fare was eating into my budget, so I began temping right away while applying for finance jobs. I naively believed that every bank would want to hire me. After all, I had studied English and chemistry. I could think in left and right brain ways. I did well in both, and I just wanted a job, any job. My willingness and optimism were greeted with rejection letters, unreturned phone calls, comments to come back after I got an MBA, and sometimes just straight up mockery. I was repeatedly told by headhunters perhaps I could be a receptionist or an assistant at a bank, but nothing else. I knew all of these people doubted me and my drive to persevere. You will encounter people who will doubt you, and you may be tempted to doubt yourself. Look at yourself in the mirror. The person staring back at you is your best advocate and cheerleader. Tell yourself what you will do and then do it. There will be incredible power in the conviction behind your words. To that end, one afternoon while navigating to a new temp gig, I was standing at the corner waiting to cross when I asked a man how to get to 54th and the Avenue of the Americas. He yelled, "What are you, a greenhorn? It's called 6th Avenue." And he told me to hustle. I looked up the definition of greenhorn, and it means new, beginner, starter. And I thought, well, yes, I am. And it was thrilling to be a beginner, hustling with this pace of the midday crowds. I loved it. I loved the hustle of my journey, the cadence, the panic pace. Love the hustle became a phrase in my life that represented embracing the life you have, the gifts you're given, and making the most of each day. There was conviction in my phrase, love the hustle, and with that conviction, power. I agreed to interview for a receptionist job. Knowing I had to be my own best cheerleader, I convinced the firm to hire me as an analyst. My belief in myself inspired others to believe in me. So I loved the hustle when I moved from that snug office floor into a mini studio apartment with a friend. It was so small I called it a studito, and it was just the right size for one twin bed. So we purchased some secondhand red metal bunk beds that had been donated from a little boy's room. My dream of an apartment of any size on my own, let alone one with a separate bedroom door, was for another day. I loved the hustle when I interviewed to become a receptionist at a private equity firm and walked out with an offer for a coveted analyst role. I had taken the first steps towards realizing my dream. I loved the hustle as I toiled each day towards another seemingly impossible goal, attending Columbia Business School and building my own investment management firm. I graduated from my long dreamed of school and started my company. I loved the hustle as I fulfilled my goal of creating a company that would empower women and their families. And I'm proud to call folks from all walks of life my clients. I also loved the hustle as I prepared to be with all of you today. As we look to move on, look to those around you who have been your champions. You are surrounded by family, friends, classmates, professors, mentors, and loved ones. In the words of Mae West, you only live once, but if you do it right, once is enough. Today is a once-in-a-lifetime achievement and shared victory. Make it your goal for today to personally thank and hug at least 3 people who helped you on this journey. Lastly, I invite all of you to love the hustle, to celebrate glorious moments like today. Cherish the relationships that you built up. Open yourself to the possibilities of uncertainty. Find joy in your journey. Once you arrive, you will find it is exactly where you are supposed to be. Congratulations to the class of 2019.
Hello again. In 2013, the EMBA class gave the Commitment to Excellence Award to Professor Nachum Melamed, who accepted it in person. In 2014, he was awarded the honor again, but unfortunately, Nachum could not personally accept the prize as he had passed on earlier that year. His wife, Maya, and daughter, Sherry, who accepted the prize on his behalf. Sherry, who's with me today, is following her father's success. She recently graduated from Columbia Business School with a PhD in marketing and is now an assistant professor at a somewhat lesser school, Wharton. Nachum was a gifted scholar, a great teacher, and most importantly, a beloved friend to many of us. After his untimely passing, we wanted to memorialize him in a way that we felt he would appreciate. Given his great passion for teaching in EMBA, his friends at the accounting division initiated the Nachum D. Melamed Memorial Award. This is the highest honor given at the commencement ceremony to a graduating student from each class in the Executive MBA program. The recipients have demonstrated exceptional academic skill, as well as a significant impact on the Columbia community. In addition to the honor of the award today, each of today's 3 awardees will receive a check, I've been assured. I'm delighted to join Sherry in presenting the Nachum D. Memorial Awards for 2019. The recipient for the EMBA New York 2019 Saturday class is Mark Denunzo. By the way, for those, the students don't know who's getting the award. You'll get the check. Thank you. The recipient for the EMBA Americas class of 2019 is Keel O'Sullivan. And the recipient of the EMBA New York 2019 Friday-Saturday class is Jonathan Hopper. Again, congratulations to you all, and thanks to Sherry.
We will now announce the Academic Excellence Awards. Students who demonstrate exceptional academic performance are in the top 5% of their class, graduate with Dean's Honors with distinction. As I call your name, please stand to be recognized and remain standing. The following students will graduate with Dean's Honors with distinction for the EMBA New York Saturday class. Brian Cattell, Mark Denunzio, Akshith Kumar, Charlie Linau, Kelsey Lindenschmidt, and Parijat Samanth. The following graduates will graduate with Dean's Honors with distinction from the EMBA Americas class: William Karizna and Keel O'Sullivan. The following students will graduate with Dean's Honors with distinction for the EMBA New York Friday-Saturday class: Peter Davidson, Jonathan Hopper, Noam Gilad, Oliver Grace, Spencer Lucian, Bob Mart, and Rob Zakowski.
So, inspired by Elle's speech, I want to take a moment before I introduce the Distinguished Service Award to acknowledge my son, William, and my husband, Robert, who are here today. William said he wanted to come today to see Mom on stage. I think he was also influenced by the fact I mentioned we would have Chick-fil-A biscuits and Magnolia cupcakes at the reception after. But I mention this because as I share with all of you at orientation, William and Robert represent the serendipity that came from my EMBA experience. So it is now my honor to introduce the Executive MBA Distinguished Service Award, which is presented to one graduating student from each program selected by classmates as deserving special recognition for contributions to the spirit and achievement of the class. Recipients, please come to the stage when I call your name. We will mail your awards later. They're glass and they break. So, the EMBA New York Saturday class has chosen Yasmin Lestrange to receive this award. The EMBA Americas class has chosen Nikki Fernandez to receive Distinguished Service Award. Way up here. You had a really long walk. Way in the back. The EMBA New York Friday Saturday class has chosen Josh Tenenbaum to receive this award. Pretend I'm giving you the award. Congratulations.
The Ethan R. Hannaberry Student Representative Awards are presented to the elected academic, cluster, career, community, women in business, and executive board student representatives to recognize their dedication to serving the interests of their classmates and to the overall betterment of the executive MBA program. As I read your name, please stand and remain standing. The student representatives for the EMBA New York Saturday class are Zachary Barbieri, Ashkeith Kumar, Winzy Lau, Yasmin Lestrange, Fatma Louie, Morgan Manoff, Alexei Maslov, Chelsea McGinnis, Matthew Wang, and Jane Zovak. The representatives for the EMBA Americas class are Nicole Dow, Nikki Fernandez, Jacob Freed, Sonia Kanchandani, Clarissa Padula, Kim Price, and Chris Sullivan. The representatives for the EMBA New York Friday Saturday class are Carla DeMarzo Sanchez, Adam DeVos, AJ Fair, Kyle Henderson, Andrea Hidalgo, Bob Mart, Katie McHugh, Catherine Smith, Anis Makowski, Josh Tenenbaum, and Michael Wexler. Thank you. You may now be seated. The names of the graduating students will now be read, beginning with the EMBA New York Saturday class of 2019. We please ask that the audience remain seated and hold their applause throughout the entire reading of the names. Assad Abdullah. Christopher Ackman. Luis E. Alanya. Tawheed Amin. Elvis Babila. Shiva Kumar Balakrishnan. Zachary John Barbieri. Ariel Bengio. Irina Benimovic. Nabil Benuna. Jack Bernstein. Eva Lee Binda. Brian Blake. Evan Bliss. Mark Bowman. Jeremy Brindell. Queenie Bui. Ines Bustelo Garcia. Andrea Cabral. Sabrina Cow. Brian Cattell. Emily Chan. Paul Chan. June Chang. Grace Chen. Anand Chedukuri. Luke Shimolinsky. Aga Komitz. Jose Correa. Connor Corrigan. Sean G. Cousins. Mark Cruz. Terry Culver. Alexander Zarnaki. Loman Davis. Christina DeBryan. Mark D'Annunzio. Shalene Detta. Carrie Fazio. Jason Ferbert. Nicholas F. Ganyas. Sarah Ghosh. Ivana Ilya Georgieva. Nicholas Joseph Godek. Daniel Victor Graca. Matthew Garver Hamilton. Lindsay Hankins. William Hargreaves. Justin Harkness. Sumaid Hostak. Julia Helms. Jason Hope. Ronald Howe. Chris Highland. Jay Jacobs. Reedy Jobber. Rachel C. Jordan. Julie Joseph. Stephen D. Jung. Ken Kamensev. Anvita Carrara. Noam Katz, Aaron McGowan Kiernan, Riichiro Kimura, Natalia Koryeka, Akshith Kumar Sharma, David Kwan, Stratos Laskoridis, Wincy Lau, Karen Elizabeth Laudeman, Yasmin Harris Lestrange, Charlie Lienau, Kelsey Lindenschmidt, Joseph M. Long, Fatma Louie, John Mackay, Morgan Manoff, Christopher Martin, Alexei Maslov, Matt McCoy, Chelsea Ann McGinnis, Ankit Mehta, Joseph J. Messina Jr., Johannes Muller, Preeti Murali, Adam Musial, Krishna Nair, Kwa Thane Gwen, Felicia Owen, Steve Opasensky, Takumi Osaki, Seth Osei Fosu, Brian Paulo, Kami Mahi Park, Adnan Patel, Colin Peeler, Inni Peguero, Jenny Presser-Kroll, Peter Pritchard, Katrina Marie Purcell, Ame Rain, Katie Ruther, Russi Reyes, Damian Rivera, Fernando Rocha, Anderson Rodriguez, Nadav Rosengarten, Marcelo Rosso, Parijat Samant, Camila Seaman, Sai Sarva, Vladimir Shenzon, Ankit Singh, Adam Sonnenfeld, Roy Suku, Cindy Stefanovich Matejevich, Brian Mark Stigliano, Siva Sainkari Swaminathan, Francis Tong, Alexander Euler, Kumar Velagula, Harish Venkat Perumal, Jordan Vidor, Matthew James Borja Wang, Donald Ward, Andrew Yam, Keiichiro Yanai, Gilly Yildirim, Jessica Ann Urako, Philip Zhang, Yi Wen Zhu, Jane Zovak, and Irina Zubi.
We will now read the names of the EMBA Americas class of 2018. Maya Berjanisvili, Gaurav Bandari, Thomas Buchanan, Lavon Chen, Andre Coelho de Sousa, Avishek Das, Rafael del Castillo Caldas, Dhiraj Devata, Nicole Mary Dow, Christina Julianne Dreyer, Nikki Fernandez, Andrew Thomas Fletcher, Jean-Pierre Fournier Romero, Jacob Ryan Freed, Guillermo Gomez, William Karizna, Sonia Kanchandani, Nigel Ann Lacroix Williamson, David Levy, Christine Mangle, Justin Mitchell, Christian Norambuena, Andres Ignacio Oberto Anselmi, Keel O'Sullivan, Clarissa Padula, Craig Page, Kimberly Price, Luis Puerto, Carlos Ivan Rodriguez Quanalo, Christopher Sullivan, Alberto Villaramon, Caitlin Wagner, Heather Phillips Warburton, William Blanton Waring, Lee Winter, Nicholas Zaidan, Christine Concepcion, Mei Lu Melissa Wang.
We will now read the names of the graduates of the EMBA New York Friday-Saturday class of 2019. Praveen Honor, Jenny Abramson, Krishna Kalyan, Brian Asman, Catherine Bacher, Dan Balestra, Benjamin Tall Bartlett, Daniela Bauman, Isha Bawa, Stuart Bentley Hibbert, Anna Broughton Boatwright, Samantha Braun, Jamie Brennan, Mitchell Booter, Alejandro Bufo Sempe, Emma Kai, Tom Caramonico, Jason Carver, Mala Chappell, Chu Wei Chen, Sophie Chang, Tom Cosper, Hunter Kraft, Aditya Daga, Peter Davidson, Cynthia Del Pozo Garcia, Paula Delgado, Carla DiMarzo Sanchez, Adam DeVos, Lauren Din, Matthew Dumont, Matthew Irby, Andrew John Fair, Julia Elizabeth Fair, Daniel Flath, Lisa Diana Gansky, Neil Garg, Andy Germanov, Greg Gilderman, Noam Gilad, Andres Gomez, Oliver Grace, Nick Gralla, David Grenier, Kelsey Groom, Sam Galand, Arun Shekhar Gupta, Rahul Gupta, Elizabeth Hathaway, Kyle Henderson, Phil Hennessy, Jose Herrera, Andrea Hidalgo, Bain Hill, Kate Hirschhorn, Jonathan Hopper, Bradley Hunnewell, Eric Huang, Ryan Jacobs, Alex Jansen, Jennifer Jones, Patrick Thomas Joyce, Tori Youngshin Kam, Brian Kang, Jared Carson, Alie Ozge Kaya, Catherine Keys, Albert Kim, Charles Kim, Luba Kim Reynolds, Miriam King, Peter Kozadoy, Charles Monroe Kreitler, Beth Curtison, Emmett Lamb, Ryan Christopher Lang, Bridget Rilmuto La Perla, Melissa Jane Lavin, Jeffrey Lagun, Alfred Lerman, Kevin LaCarrie, Sam Latucci, Nicole Liu, Brianna O'Brien Lowndes, Spencer Lucian, Corinne Rotter McCougler, Patrick Madden, Ruthel Mully, Bharath Manglani, Bob Mart, CJ Martino, Sean Edward McCarthy, Kathleen McHugh, Adam Merin, Yoni Mehta, Alexandra Michael, Merrill Miller, Patrick Muller, Federico Moncaliano, James Morrill, Catherine Mueller, Shegun Odutola, Jeffrey Park, Shamit Patel, Gibson Pierre, Chandler Ramsey, Deepa Ravi Kumar, Freddie Richardson, Elizabeth Ripotola, Sohel Rupani, Matthew Rosenthal, Alex Ross, Anisha Sakuria Patel, Travis Seal, Mars Shaw, Nikhil Shah, Adwait Shirali, Catherine Smith, Constance Eleanor Smith, Anna Smikowski, Ryan William Spagnolo, Nicholas Stabline, Rupendra Swarup, Michael Swift, Babakar C., Peter Shevchik, Daniel Tantillo, Josh Tenenbaum, Svetlana Weisman, Hector Vasquez, Lu Wong, Charlotte Garden Weiss, Alex Weiss, Michael Wexler, Daniel Fatorek, Ted Wu, Michelle Yu, Jason Zeringalam, T. Robert Zakowski III, Scott Zumwalt. Please join us in applauding the graduates.
Let's give another collective round of applause for all three classes, please. I am aware that I now am the only thing standing between you and a reception with your family and friends. So I'll be brief. I really have only two things to say. The first is to my colleague and friend Trevor Harris. I look forward to bringing the gospel of finance and free cash flow back to the 6th floor when I return in a few weeks. To all of you, I'm sure that when you were preparing to come today and describing your hopes and dreams, somebody around you probably said the best time for that was some time ago. You should do something else. I don't want you to believe them. I want you to refer them to Frank Sinatra's tombstone. Because on Frank Sinatra's tombstone is written words of a great hit, "The best is yet to come." If you remember nothing else from today, remember that. Thank you, congratulations, graduates, for our guests. The recessional of graduates will happen first, and then guests can follow us and join us at Ansel Plaza. We'll see you there.
Family and friends on the east side of the lawn, we ask that you please wait for the graduates to exit before exiting the seating area. Those on the west side of the lawn, we ask that you please exit promptly so we may prepare for our next ceremony. Please join us on Ansel Plaza for our reception. Thank you for coming.